You like being a bear? You like hitting really, really hard while having an incredible amount of survivability for hardcore? Well, you've come to the right place. Let's take a look at this hardcore Druid Hardcore Werebear OP, which stands for Overpower. Not that it's an overpowered build, it's overpower based, like the overpower feature, kind of like the crit, but overpower. We have our spirit boons here, 10% reduced damage from elites, 5% increased crit strike chance, 10% max life, 4 to 5% of your maximum life when you use a defensive skill, and critical strikes with shape-shifting skills heal for 3% of your max life, and this combos quite well, increased crit chance, and then we heal when we crit, combos well. Our skills, we're going to take a look at the skill tree and go from there. Our goal is to stay in Werebear 100% of the time. Little tip on that, by the way, if you don't have enemies to hit, you can hold shift and use your Maul to swing at nothing and bring yourself into a bear form. That is important. You want to keep your bear form going, and I'll show you why. First, we're going to start with Maul. We have that maxed. It scales from 20% damage up to 28, which is almost a 50% damage boost of the skill. It's 8% additional damage, almost 10%. So it almost buffs it by almost 50%, so it's good. It actually is good to have sustainable damage. If an enemy is hit by Maul, you fortify for 2% of your base life, so you constantly have fortify coming in, and we increase the range and radius of Maul by 25%. The other option is the knockdown. The range and radius is generally a little bit better. Pulverize, an incredible AoE that will do a massive amount of damage because of this. Your next Pulverize will overpower every 12 seconds while you remain healthy. Enemies hit with Pulverize deal 20% reduced damage for 4 seconds. That's good for hardcore, right? Good to keep us alive. Enemies overpowered by Pulverize are stunned for 2 seconds as the other option. We're not going for that. We are going for the reduced damage. That is good. 20% is huge. Huge. Critical strike chance against close enemies is increased by 6%. Another thing that works on that, we have plus 5% from the spirit boons over there, and the heal, the 3% heal when we crit, so that works well to keep heals coming in every so often. 9% damage reduction while in Werebear form. The bonus persists for 3 seconds after leaving Werebear form. This is why we stay in Werebear. We want to stay in Werebear for this and one other thing, which is a massive bonus to your damage. I'll show you. Earthen Bulwark. Rocks surround you for 3 seconds, granting a barrier that absorbs 58% of your base life. We put 4 points in here. You could go down the 1 and pick up another passive elsewhere. I'll show you that as well. Earthen Bulwark makes you unstoppable. That's incredible. Crowd control effects, we want to have a way to remove those so we don't die while being CC'd. We don't get the shrapnel, does damage. Kind of crap. We grab the Fortify, another way to get Fortify. Non-physical resistance increased by 15%, so we take less damage from elements. And you gain 15% damage reduction for 6 seconds after using a defensive skill. We have 2 defensive skills in this build. This one is when we roar, it reduces the damage that enemies do by 70% for 4 seconds. It's a short duration, 4 seconds, but that damage reduction is massive. You could even use it to save your life. Like you see, maybe you're fighting a Shava and the slam's coming down on you and you don't think you can get out of that. You can use Debilitating Roar and reduce his damage down to nothing. And we also get 15% additional damage reduction while using that because this is considered a defensive skill. And it also helps your allies. You're playing with friends, you're in a group, it'll help them stay alive as well. The other reason why we take it is the Fortify, of course. One option is the slow enemies, but we are going to take the option that heals us. Very nice heal. What is that, 16% health you get over 4 seconds? Yeah, that's pretty good. Along with the crits, you have a good amount of health coming in as you're fighting. You don't always have to rely on your potions, which is good. We want to preserve our potions as much as possible. 22 seconds is a little bit of a long cooldown for a 4-second duration, but you can level it and decrease the cooldown if you wish to do so. It does go down a little bit, 1.1 seconds per point. So it's not bad. It goes down a fair amount, and you will be getting cooldown reduction on your gear. You'll be getting maybe plus ranks to Debilitating Roar, so it'll go down. It is good, though. It is definitely worthwhile taking. We don't take anything here. Really isn't worth it for this build. And now this. Okay, so I'm going to remove points down here, and I'll put them back in a second for a reason. There was a little debate on the forums that like, oh, this ability sucks, and you do more damage with rabies. I'm going to show you something. We're going to max out rabies. Let's grab one more point, and let's grab this as well. Rabies does 74% poison damage over 6 seconds, plus the original 39% when you hit an enemy immediately. That's what? That's 113%. To do that math right? Yeah, 113% damage. This one here deals 30% bonus damage at max duration. So we said what? 113%? That's like 143% damage from Rabies. 143%. I'm going to put my points back for now. Trample does 105%, plus 63 if you hit an enemy into a wall, and it stuns them, right? But it's a little annoying to use, right? You have to have terrain next to you. When you're in dungeons, there's generally more terrain around you, so you do really make use of that stun. But that is not the main source of our damage. Trample deals 150% bonus damage. This effect is reduced by 50% for each enemy hit. So if you're fighting even one enemy, a boss enemy, you are going to do a ridiculous amount of damage with Trample. That is 255% damage. And you get 20% of your base life as Fortify. Another thing that helps us stay alive. We're not done yet, though. 255% damage, that sounds huge, right? Okay, watch this. While in Werebear form, you receive 15% additional healing from all sources, so that helps us with our crit heals and such, right? Here's the reason why we want to stay in Werebear as long as possible. You ready? When you remain in Werebear form for at least 20 seconds, your next skill will Overpower. For those of you that don't know, Overpower is incredible. Overpower actually does damage based off your max life and your Fortify. Max life and Fortify. Don't believe me? Let's take a look. Let's look at this together. I'm going to look it up. I've looked at it before. Ignore this really weird landing page. What is Overpower in Diablo 4? Oh, that is bright. Oof. Ooh. It is not working. Anyway, dark mode's not working. I'm sorry. Overpower has a fixed activation rate of 3%. 3% chance to proc, right? But we're guaranteeing Overpower with 2 abilities in this build. The Overpower effect grants extra damage to whichever skill you are using when it's activated. Overpower scales with your life and Fortify stats, but has a base value of 50% and caps at 150. That is incredible. That is amazing. That is just an absurd amount of additional damage from Overpower. It is more than crits. Plus, we are getting a crazy high amount of Fortify and a crazy amount of high life in this build. And I'll show you that in the tree, in the Paragon tree when we get there. The amount of damage that Overpower is going to do is absurd. I can't stress it enough. There are 2 builds in the game that I can think that are going to give you the highest single hit numbers in the game. One of them is Druid, one of them is Barbarian. The Druid with Trample, that guarantees an Overpower every 20 seconds. There's one thing about this. When this comes up, you want to make sure your next skill is Trample, especially if you're fighting a boss. It will do so much damage to that boss. I can't wait to see this in play. Can't wait to actually use this. I've used it in the beta and such, but seeing it live at high levels, you know, when you're getting really high damage, you get more Overpower damage on your gear and such. We also have Pulverize that will Overpower every 12 seconds while we remain healthy. So we keep our health very high. This will Overpower as well. And the damage scales with survivability. That's great. As your max life goes up and your Fortify goes up, your damage also goes up with that. So not only are you staying alive in hardcore, but you're doing a massive amount of damage. Defensive posture. Increase the amount of Fortify you gain from all sources by 15%. That's incredible. And then 15% chance when struck to fortify you for 4% of your base life. We have a lot of that coming in. And then the ultimate, of course, we're taking Grizzly Rage. 50-second cooldown, shapeshift into a dire werebear for 10 seconds, gaining 20% bonus damage and 20% damage reduction. Damage bonus is increased by 3% each second while in this form. Kills extend the duration by 1 second up to 10 additional seconds. So you could have this run for 20 seconds with a 50-second cooldown. Without any cooldown reduction, that's a 30-second cooldown remaining on the ultimate when it's not up. That's pretty damn good. This is a strong ultimate, especially the modifiers. You're unstoppable, can't be crowd controlled. And then you gain 8% base life as fortified per second while Grizzly Rage is active. Huge amount of fortify in the build. I can't stress that enough, how tanky you're going to be with the crazy amount of life and fortify, and then of course the overpower damage. Gain 20% additional maximum life while in werebear form, and for 3 seconds after leaving werebear form. While healthy, deal 30% increased damage. While healthy, we will overpower with Pulverize. That's your nice AoE. And then, of course, we have 30% additional damage. We can guarantee our overpower as long as you stay in werebear form. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing the damage in the build? Can you imagine it? It is very high, I promise you. Now, onto the Paragon. As always, we take the left and right side here. That is very, very important. We grab the life nodes, the armor. Grab the damage nodes, the life, more damage. We run up here, we grab the glyph. You gain 10% damage reduction while in werebear form. That's the glyph you should start out with because it's pretty much 10% damage reduction that is running 100% of the time. You're always going to be in werebear form. More damage, willpower. We grab the resist to all, willpower. Your dexterity, more resist to all, more damage. We jump up here, we grab the survival instincts board. We grab the legendary node. While in werebear form, you deal 1% increased damage up to 50% for every 1% difference in the current life between you and the enemy. Pretty good. So as you're fighting a boss and the boss health starts going down, 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 when they hit like 50%, as long as you're at 100% health, the difference is 50% for the maximum 50% increased damage. Damage to healthy enemies. So when you start the fight with an enemy, you're going to do a massive amount of damage. You're going to be one-shotting elites with the Trample. Even Pulverize, you'll be one-shotting almost everything. Damage reduction, for a while at least. Obviously not endgame. Damage reduction while fortified. You saw how much fortifies in this build. Total armor while in werebear. That's amazing because armor actually helps you with spell damage in this game if you didn't know. Little tip for that. Damage while in werebear form, we definitely want that. Then the node we went with here is the 10% damage reduction the more fortify you have. Werebear skill damage over here. Now the choice is yours depending on where you want to run. I would actually recommend dropping this heightened malice while leveling. That'll be the next one we go to. And jet up here, and we're going to say we're going to grab ourselves the poison resistance and life nodes to help keep us alive. Help reduce the poison damage that's ticking on us, and then we're going to jet over to the right. So we end up with 4 glyphs at the end of this build. Yeah, you can modify it for 5 glyphs, but I'm going to show you why we sacrifice the last glyph. Moving in, we got more life, more armor, life, armor. We jet up here, more armor. Armor is huge in this game, promise. 10% damage reduction against close enemies. We're almost always going to be on top of enemies. We're a bear, we're meleeing. Shape-shifting skill damage, so all our bear ability damage is going to go up. Our attack speed is going to go up here. Attack speed and damage. And this is one of the things that gets in the way of your node, your glyph. If you truly want another glyph, you can do it, but you have to pull this out, and then you'd be pulling these sections out here as well. And you can begin to see why it's not worth it, because we're talking attack speed, damage. We go up here, and we grab ourselves more life. 3 life nodes here. 4, 2, it's 8%, plus you can get some maximum spirit increase over here, which is not bad at all. And then we run up here. Basic skill damage. This is a big node. This area is big for basic skill damage. We're going to be using Maul, and that's one of the reasons why we go 5 out of 5 Maul, because we do have some good modifiers for basic skill damage here, so you won't be hitting like a wet noodle while you're using your generator, while you're using your basic attack. You do have a decent amount of basic skill damage here, but this tree does heavily rely on Overpower to do its mass damage, so your Pulverize and your Trample are going to be incredible. Last but not least, we're going to be taking a look at this here, and you could certainly go here first, then go for these two here. Me personally, I'd probably run up to here, grab this, then bounce back to here, and then finalize with this. That's how I would probably do it, because I'd love to grab the survivability first. We have core skill damage here, which is our Pulverize. While in werewolf or werebear form, close enemies take 12% increased damage from you. It is a 50% bonus to all magic nodes, so that's going to buff all the magic nodes here. And of course the magic nodes here, which are resistance to all, resist all elements increase, great for staying alive, and that is the end of the build. But we're going to take a look at the stat screen real quick. 42% life, increased healing received 40%, crazy amount of additional armor. This is before gear's even on, obviously. And reduces incoming physical damage taken. This applies to both direct physical damage and bleeding damage over time. Non-physical damage taken is partially reduced according to your armor contribution. There you go. Got a decent amount of resist all. Should make it easy to get some high resist there. You suck at the ones you're a little bit lower at, and you'll be quite tanky with the amount of additional life, armor, resist, damage reduction while fortified. It's strong, guys. I'm telling you. 192% overpower damage. It's just, it's so good. And then it scales even higher with your life and fortify. It is good stuff. And then you got your damage versus healthy, so you go up against an enemy that's full health, or you trample right into an elite. Poof, that guy's gone. He's not gonna do anything in that fight. That elite is gonna just absolutely explode. Well, guys, what do you think? What do you think about the build? Let me know in the comments. Are you playing Druid? I think that's like the least played class. Is anyone out there playing Druid looking to do like a melee werebear form build? Will you be using this going into the game? Let me know. Let me know in the comments what you think. Always happy to talk builds, and I'll catch you guys in the next build video. Take care.